there, everybody. Hey, I haven't made a clock video in a while. Thought I was about past due. Well, there's a couple reasons, because I got my kitchen all tore apart. I'll show you. Hold on. Okay. That's the old kitchen. Man, we're doing some painting. I got the trim painted and everything, but I got everything all tore apart. Plastic down, ready to go. Hey, I got to go downstairs and get a screwdriver for something. Let's go downstairs. Go down to the basement cave. Let's see what's going on down here. Be careful, the steps are steep. All right, got to get my screwdriver. Hey, the basement's the next project after I get done with the kitchen. I'll tell you what, it's been 10 years going into that kitchen, and I'll tell you what. Oh, hey, what is this? Holy moly guacamole. Good grief. Wow. Oh man, another project. Look at that. Hey, I found this on Marketplace. Guy had it listed. It was a real reasonable price. And it looked like it fell out of an airplane, I think. And it's got a Jauch German movement in it. The movement's got some date on it, and I think it's not 1968. I got some issues with the that's broke up there, but I do have that part to glue off, and this is going to be my next project right here. Let's spin this thing around, look at it. Hold on a second, hold on. Okay, spun it around. The movement is just sitting in here free. There's supposed to be some brackets that go here and here. Oh man, this is what I call cattywampus right here. I think it took a tumble, and I don't know if somebody tried to nail this or there was a nail in there, but everything is just cattywampus on this thing. But you know what? I love a good challenge. I'm kind of like Hank Jr., you know what I mean? I love a good challenge. And hey, you know, there's some good wood in this. I don't know if this is a high-end grandfather or grandmother clock or not. This tells me it's probably the little bit cheaper version of a grandfather clock. But hey, you know what? I'm going to get this thing going. All right. All right, I got the movement out. And let's see if I can make a close-up of this thing here. I don't know if I can or not. This is... see if you can see anything. But anyway, right there where I'm showing you, maybe you can see, it says 368 made in Germany. It's got, I think it's got a part number on there, L78, and it says Jauch. And I'm going to guess that 368 I'm looking at is probably when that was manufactured. So this clock's probably from the late 60s. I know that Jauch, if I'm saying that right, hope I am. The company went out of business in 1983. They made these movements and went out of business in 1983. So I'd say this clock is probably from the late 60s, I'll guess. Also, I got the hands off. I'm about ready to pull the face off of there and straighten it up. This is the minute hand. Let's get it over here in the light. This is the minute hand. And on a grandfather clock, or on any clock that's got a hand like that, there's a little nut right there, and of course it slides on there, and then you tighten a little nut. But if you ever get a clock that doesn't ring, comes up and it's ringing 5 till or 5 after, just take a needle nose plier and put on that nut right there and adjust this hand. You can adjust this hand right there so it rings on the 12 instead of 5 after or 5 before or 2 before or 3 after. Just take a little needle nose pliers and adjust that right there, and then you got it. Stuff has probably been sitting outside. The guy said I think he bid it on a storage unit or got it out of a storage unit. It's pretty tarnished. Maybe that'll clean up. I kind of hope it will. And I got to cut some glass for it. I got to get that face out. Let's get some light on there. This little zoom camera requires a lot of light. And yeah, get that face out of there. It's surprising what a couple of screws will do. Put a couple of screws in these hinges here. And I use the right screws. When you're doing a clock, and you see they got flathead screws, don't stick Phillips screws in there. You don't want to do that. Now it looks like this thing actually closes and everything. Oh, maybe not. It's maybe lying around me. And I think I got that part for this upstairs. I'll glue that and stain and kind of sand that and stain that a little bit so you can't see it. Alrighty. Well, I was going to leave this clock until I got the kitchen painted, but I got it downstairs here and I started poking around on it and I took the movement out. Now I'm going to, as you can see from the fall, this there's nothing wrong with the dial on this or the face or the face of it, but it's been in because it's pulled out of this. There's a groove here, right here. So I'm going to take this molding off right here and relieve some of that pressure. I'll take one off at a time and see if I can get that squared back up there. I see a crack. Well, no, I guess that's a molding there too. Also, when I use a lot of times when I work on clocks or when I pull the molding off, I use this tool right here. It's my old auto glass tool. It's called the equalizer. This tool has got a sharp end on it right here. It's made of spring metal. And this tool was ordinarily used in auto glass for pulling quarter glasses out of cars. You stick this part in the urethane, and you just kind of ease it in there and kind of have the sharpen up and ease it in there, and you can cut a quarter glass out of the side of a car with that. But anyway, I'm going to work on that and see if I can't get that off of there and see if I can't get that flat. And then from there, I'll have to see if I can't clamp that up there, glue that and clamp that and see if I can make that nice. All right, I got the clock case pretty much squared up. I haven't got that top glued on yet, but I had to beat this thing into submission. It's a little bit of space here, but we're going to work on that. And also, this was cracked right here. And what the problem was, somebody right there, they had a big old nail or something in there and it's cracked it way up there. I pulled this part out. I cracked it a little more, pulled it out of there, and dug that nail out of there and put some glue on there. I'll do the old toothpick trick. See that? Take your toothpick, cut it off, put it in that hole right there. Don't have pressure on the wood with it, and you got a piece of wood there. So that's what we're going to do there. But yeah, I got the, I don't know if it's too dark over here or not. I think it is. But yeah, I got the door squared. The clock is squared. This is working now. Haven't worked on the bottom yet. And like I said in a lot of my videos, every one of my videos really, I don't restore clocks. All I do is get them to run and detail the clock. And hey, I'll buff this thing out, put some wax on it, touch up the scratches. She'll look pretty good. All right, I got this clock pretty well squared up, like I said. Measured this up here. From here to this molding to down here is 1 7/16 square. It's square. The bottom, the door's shut. Little pins. I've never seen a clock that has a grandfather clock that has this style of clip on it, but this one apparently does. I still got to clean it up, the body up a little bit. I mean the case up. Vacuum the dirt out of it. Got a lot of band-aids on her. Fixed that. That should be ready to go pretty soon. I got a clamp here on the side. I don't know if you can see that on the bottom. Got the bottom clamped. I got the other side clamped over here. And I got a clamp going through the top here. Look at this. And it goes up and holds this down right here. You probably can't see. It's probably dark in here, but we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4 clamps on this thing. All right, I'm coming along with this old grandfather's clock here. Got it pretty well squared up. I still got a little problem with this door rubbing here, and it's getting late, and I'm going to worry about it tomorrow or some other time. I got the top glued on here, as you can see. I don't think it looks too bad. and got the parts cleaned up. There's the pendulum laying there, and they were pretty tarnished. I mean, they're not perfect, but cleaned the chime up. I'm kind of wondering if this only has 3 chimes. I'm kind of wondering if that's missing there, or this particular model just didn't have that. I did have another chime laying around, and I tried to get that out of there, but I couldn't get it out. It's got screws on the bottom, and hey, this is all Greek to me. I never worked on a grandfather clock before, but I got that all cleaned up, and I think I'll call it a night and hit it tomorrow sometime. Maybe after I get done painting a little bit in the kitchen, I'll come down here and see what I can do. Also, I won't be able to get this right away. I only have 1 chain here. Only 1 chain came with it. And I'll have to look and see where I can get the chain for this, about that length. And I guess maybe the lengths and the whatever, probably for this clock. So we'll see. All right, I'm still coming along with this clock here. I need some chains. I only have 1 chain, and I'm not real sure this chain that goes with this clock is actually the chain that came with this clock. I mean, let me back up here a little bit. The chain that came with this clock, and there was only 1 of them, I don't believe belongs to this clock because it's pretty long. So I found some chains on eBay. This chain is 72 inches long. I got 2 chains 60 inches long, and we'll see. I think that should be just right for this clock, but it is keeping time. I did have a few problems with the clock. One thing that's wrong, let me get on the other side. Hope there's enough light to see this. One thing that's wrong is where the hands go. The shaft that comes out is a little bent. This thing really took a tumble. So the clock would run for a while. When the hands got around, it would bend and hit the face right here. So what I did was I took the face back off, and I drilled the opening a little bit bigger, and then I've got a little wheel grinder, went in there and smoothed it off. And after I did that, I haven't had any problems. This is a Jauch clock. Yeah, not Roush, but Jauch. Jauch. I guess it's called Jauch movement. Jauch clock. The clock says it's made in Germany. Let's get some light on the subject here. As you can see, it's running, and got it put back together. Got the clock case squared up. I had trouble with this one part down here. I used my foot right there, and you know what I used? This was cracked right here, and I used some of that amber colored Gorilla Glue, and then I put some clamps on it, and after I did that, it was fine. I got the chimes put on. This clock was actually, once I got it glued back together, this clock was actually narrower than probably what it was originally. I can't see why, but I had to take this board that has the chimes on it, and I had to take it out in the garage and grind it down just a little bit so it would fit. But and I got the beat set on it. I had a little bit of trouble setting the beat on the clock, but it's been running for quite a while now and keeping pretty good time. And I got a really good deal on this one here. Now I got to get the glass installed in it. Got to get some glass. You know, I was a glass man for 43 years, and it wasn't nothing to take my doors and take my stuff to work and go ahead and fix it on the table. But you know what? I'm not a glass man anymore, so I guess I got to go down to Menards and get a couple pieces of glass for this one. But it is once it got cleaned up, this is a beautiful clock. It's not the cheap old clock I thought it was going to be. The woodwork was really nice on this clock. This is a little lackluster up here though. That's not very ornate, but you know what? The clock is solid, and it's got a good movement. It's running good. I can't wait to get the other chains so I can start working on the chimes, because I know they're going to take some doing to get those right. All right, I'm down in the basement cave. let's go in the old workshop and see how far along we got with this grandfather clock here. It's still sitting here. You know, this project, ordinarily I would have this done in 1 or 2 days the way it was, but I've been painting the kitchen. I got the kitchen all tore apart, and then I went to church this morning. Just got home from church, so at least I went to church while I'm working on this thing. I won't be cussing or anything, so that's one good thing. Right now I got the top door off right here. I'll take this door off here in a little bit, but I stopped the store and got me some glass. Got a cut of glass for this. It's 11 3/4 by 11 3/4, and it's always best to have your you're going to install a piece of glass, have it laying down here like this so you can work on it. Now this door here does not have any wood stops with it. Somebody's taken the wood stops off. So what I'm going to do is, this has 4 wood stops here. As you can see, I've got 2 of them off right now. There you are. And I'm going to take all 4 of these off. And what I'll do is, when I install this glass, I'll just use a little bitty fine bead of silicone rubber around this, and probably use the top stop or the side stops or whatever. Then I'll take these 2 and use it on the big door, and I'll put it on the left and the right side with a bead of silicone rubber, and it just will be fine. And it will be fine. But let me get to this thing. Let me get this glass cut. You know, it's a shame. I was a glass man for 43 years, and I almost can't hardly go in the store and buy a piece of glass. You know what I mean? It's like, well, let me get this done. All right, when you're cutting your glass for your clock, make sure you got a nice flat surface with nothing on it. Nice flat surface. Now I've got this cut. I had to cut 1/8 of an inch off right here. I haven't got it off there yet, but use your glass cutter. And see those little notches on there? You take your glass cutter and you can use glass pliers. I have some glass pliers out in the barn, but I'm not going to go get it. I'll just use this, notch it off, and then when you get done, you take some sandpaper, go around the whole thing, and make it nice. But alrighty. Alright, I got this glass cut to size. I don't even know if you can see the glass laying on here now with the light and everything. There you go. And just to show off my expertise, I whacked that off with the, nipped that off with the glass cutter, 1/8 of an inch. Look at that. Woo, doggies. Okay, I got this glass laying here, and I usually, when I cut a piece of glass for anything, I usually finish the edges off right here, round the edges up, and so your corners aren't sharp and everything. I think it makes a lot better job, and also I think it protects the glass from cracking too. I use this. I got an old disc here and my drill, and I use that, and I go across, seam it, and if I need to grind any off, I can grind it off or whatever, like this here. And don't bear down too much. You got to get kind of a feel for doing the edge of the glass, because this is only what, single strength glass here. You got to use a little finesse, but it makes a nice job out of it. Alright, I got the glass cut for the first door, and fits right in there. See, you see a little piece of tape? You know, there's nothing that's real even. If I took this and went like this, it may not fit or whatever. So I fixed the bottom, and I work towards that. And as you can see, it's tighter than a mouse's ear right there. Fits perfect in there. And I'm going to go ahead and install that in there and hang the door back up. Should be nice. Okay, I'm about ready to run a little bit of silicone rubber caulking around this, and I'll show you a little trick. Something I've learned from working in glass for many, many years. If you can see this tip, you see I cut the tip big, but then I take a pair of pliers and I flatten it out. So when I run that bead, it's going to be just a little bitty bead coming out of there. If you cut the tip small, it comes out too fast when you're squeezing it. But if you cut it big like that, it's going to come up narrow like this, and it's really nice. And we don't like to make a mess when we're doing something, and this is a way to avoid that mess. All right, I got the glass cut. I got the doors reinstalled on this old clock. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of strange to have this. I don't know if you can see this latch right here, but it's like an old gingerbread clock. This is what the inside will look like. Got top and bottom stops on her. Got the clear silicone on the sides. Turned out pretty nice. And it fits square. Push that in there. Fits square. Bottom, same way. Opens up. Got the top and bottom stops on this one. Clear silicone on the sides. All four sides actually. And while I was waiting for that silicone to dry, I don't know if you can see that, if it's too dark to see this latch. I've never seen a latch like that on a grandfather or grandmother clock before. This is a pretty nice clock, really. And while I was waiting for that to dry, I fashioned myself a back on that. Had a piece of 1/4 inch, or that's piece of paneling. I used the back of the paneling and stained it the best I could. There was no back on this. But yeah, this clock is pretty much finished, except for the next project I have on this clock will be this. I'm waiting for chains to come in. I have not as yet tried the chimes on this. I did reinstall the chimes. I did reinstall one rod, but I have no idea if the chimes work. I'll have to pull that face back off, put the chain on, put the weight on, try the chimes, adjust them to the rods, and probably in the movement I'll probably have to do some work to make sure it hits the hour or the half hour or whatever this clock does. I don't even know what it does, but that'll be my next project. But as far as keeping time, it's pretty close. It's running a little fast, if you can see that time, and that's probably the correct time right here in this clock right here. But yeah, it came along pretty nice.